see where
Let's
is.
test one.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for connecting. My name is Peter. I am the production director here at Connectiva, and I will be moderating this webinar today. I really hope that you will find this webinar useful and learn something from it. As for those of you that don't know, this webinar is part of our Insurance CEE network, which is the association that we're building in the CEE region that covers 13 countries and focuses on 3 areas: insurance distribution, insurance claims, and insurance underwriting. Today we will have 2 modules that will focus on different kind of areas. Module 1 called distribution strategy, and we will have 2 presentations discussing the challenges in bank assurance and insurance distribution in general. And we will have also the panel discussion, which will focus on omni-channel distribution, and we will try to discover new ways of insurance distribution channels. And the second module after the break is called Digital Sales and Partnerships. And we'll have 2 sessions. So one is the presentation case study by the PKO Bank about their mobile app, and also the panel discussion about the importance of intermediaries and digital sales. This is a live event, so we do encourage everyone to interact with our speakers and to write your questions in chat, and we will then address them to the speaker accordingly. And the recordings of the event will be available later on, most probably next week, for all registered members of our network. For non-registered members, unfortunately, the recordings will not be available. So I do encourage everyone to register and become a member of our Insurance CEE network. So if you have any questions, if you have any issues, feel free to write it in the chat. Other than that, I think this is it from me. Let me introduce our first speaker and the first presentation of today. The first presenter is Michael During. He's the Global Product Manager of Insurance Products at Icano Bank. And Michael will present a presentation that is called The Challenges and Opportunities in Bank Assurance. Michael, welcome. Nice to see you. Hello.
Thank you, Peter.
Before you start presenting, just give us 1 or 2 sentences about yourself. Just introduce yourself, and the stage is yours.
Yeah, again, thank you very much, Peter. Welcome, everyone. My name is, as Peter said, Michael. I'm working at Icano Bank. This is a very Nordic bank, and I want to bring today a little bit of touch of the Nordics into the CEE region, but we are also making business, for example, in Germany, Poland, and Austria. Today, I want to talk about opportunities and challenges in bank assurance. When I was together with Peter talking about what is the topic to share today, I was wondering what drives me each and every day in the bank, what is important for me each and every day, and what comes, so to say, to my attention. And that is something I would like to share a little bit with you today. So let me jump into the presentation. Yeah, challenges and opportunities and bank assurance. So what, as I said, I see each and every day is a limitation of resources, so to say. So in every organization, we see different bottlenecks, we see challenges, and one of the, from my perspective, most important is shortage of co-workers. That means especially in the technical field, where a lot of organizations are missing the right hands to deliver what is really needed to fulfill our goals, to enable our vision and mission. So, for example, if you check on many big organizations, the career sites, you will find a lot of open vacancies. You will see especially in the technical field, so to say IT engineers and similar positions, we will see many vacancies. So this is the reason for me talking about the topic. Another hint, what I saw just the days is in LinkedIn that a big organization shared that they're hiring thousands of people if you want to join. And we all know that we are hiring button in the, or we are hiring a line in LinkedIn profiles. So just one thought is, I mean, where is this coming from? So, and then of course, as you can see here, the unemployment rate especially in European Union, the Eurozone, has changed very much during the last 10 years. You can see here, when we are 10 years back, talking about unemployment rates 11, 12%. Today, we're talking about less than 8%. So, for example, here you can see an average. We were talking about 9 point something during the last 10 years, and now we are way down under the average. So, I mean, that is one of the reasons for the shortage of co-workers. And of course, there are many other reasons, but I think this is what we can see each and every day, and that is one of the reasons that should be a main driver. Then, of course, we have early retirements, the aging of the society as other reasons. But I would say, seeing that picture, it's quite clear that that should be one of the main drivers. And yes, and of course, the people with the right education and graduation, the different companies are competing for their attention, or so to say, fighting to have them to apply into their industries. So the question is, why are our industries, banks and insurances, and bank assurance as the combination of both, or the channel, why should someone graduate or apply in our industries? That from my perspective should be the main question for all of us in the midterm. Maybe already today, but at least the midterm, because we want to enable, we want to engage the people to move in our direction, to join our businesses, to fulfill our, so to say, business ideas. So I brought you a couple of examples from different areas in Europe and European Union especially, and even outside. And I just checked the days during this week, the number of vacancies in Germany that was by the authorities named with about 900,000 vacancies, which is, I would say, outstanding. And to be very open, honest, I do not really know if this is even enough. So to say, I mean, this is what is officially registered, but I think in general, there's much more. And I saw another activity from outside European Union, UK, when the, so to say, the House of Commons in UK, they did a kind of survey, and they asked the different industries how many, so to say, how many businesses are affected by the shortage of co-workers. So here you can see more than 30% of the industry already reported that this shortage. But now you can ask, of course, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for banking and insurance? And then I found another survey made by Banking Hub, so quite new, from January 23, talking about that 30% of all co-workers will leave banks and insurance companies. I mean, if you go into detail, you will see that has, again, many different reasons. But I mean, the question is, can our technology cover, so to say, the leaving of so many people in midterm? Then I found another one. You can see here from the news, December 22, so almost quite new, that Poland wants to hire IT resources even from other countries. So that is, from my perspective, quite typical behavior in different countries, but with different approaches. So I'm wondering, I mean, what what does it mean for our supply chain, for example, right? I mean, so if the people that are missing, so to say, in our organizations, where are the graduated ones going to? So then maybe it's worth to have a look in our supply chain first, right? To see, are the resources maybe still there, but not in our organization? Maybe they are working for our fintechs today, as the startup scene has grown a lot during the last 10, 15 years. And so maybe it's worth to sorry, Sebastian, can you mute, please? It causes an echo, sorry. Thank you. and we have then still this missing hands. Maybe we can engage them. We can engage them to cooperate again with us. We have different options to do so. I mean, the classical one is the supplier setup, of course. So we can contract these fintechs, insurtechs to cover our needs, to contract the requirements for the future. Still, as then demands, as this, so to say, trend of shortage of co-workers is still in place. Personally, I'm tending to maybe not looking only in supplier contracts, more in partnerships, to have strategic setups, to talk about technology development progress in so to say, developing not only the supply chain, even more the value chain, to think about new business model and value models to support the bank assurance goals. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows, that is for sure no secret, the complexity of the technical environment today to sell, for example, online an insurance product with the channel, the bank. So you have banking core systems on one hand, and all the, so to say, effort and energy goes very much into that if you are a bank, but still you want to cover the insurance channel. And then, yeah, I mean, a short link from the Nordics, so to say. The Nordic countries are very strong in speaking English language, and every, so to say, company, every partner speaking proper English is super welcome in the Nordics, and the Nordic people, especially Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and so on, they're very eager to cooperate with companies all over Europe. And that still brings me, that's why I spent a slide on that topic. Here you can see quite easy that the so to say, the level of business English across Europe is quite different. And if I would was asked, then I would say, yeah, English, no one in European Union has as a mother tongue English, but still that is still the perfect language for all of us to stay connected, to talk, and to build business relationships on. So as a result, it is an advantage of company language is English. For just a short example, even if I'm in, for example, in German negotiations or contract discussions, we cover all presentations in English, and the contract is done minimum bilingual. So one is English, so it can be used in many countries if needed. So to shortly bring it in a nutshell together is the opportunity for bank assurance I see very much in partnering up with strategic partners. To bind the resources, to contract the resources with the right purpose, and use the co-efficiency of having, for example, technology capabilities in the partner and having the financial competence in the bank or insurance company. And as I called it, make your supply chain fit for the shortage, right? So I mean, let's create this co-efficiency. Let's not leave the co-workers go to other industries or let them take other efforts. No, let's keep them in our loop. For example, let's think together about new value chains. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. For example, I just had a look into the brokers business. What they are offering today is hubs, processing centers. We have claims handling in and outsourced, and different kind of platforms. Even reinsurance companies are thinking about to build their own, so to say, platforms to run from the front end business onto the reinsurance business on one platform, just as an example. Of course, we could invest in tech firms, so to say, for our usage. That is nothing new, but under the umbrella of shortage of co-workers, I think that is something we should focus on. As examples, we have open insurance providers, of course, existing and embedded insurance providers. As long as they are similar, we should focus on both of them, that from the perspective of opportunities. Saying that, I want to quickly have a look with you guys on the regulatory changes popping up in the bank assurance field, with an exclusion on the distribution law, because we have another sequence later on today, so I will not focus on the insurance distribution directive. But what I would like to have a look with you on is, of course, the EIOPA warning. This is still fresh, but I'm pretty sure everybody on the bank assurance field has already had a look into that. Simplified, what is this about? The provisions profit share is under review by EIOPA, and we can expect have a couple of actions in 23, 24. And just for your information, the ones who didn't know, the German Parliament has already, so to say, followed the trend of CPI products and has reduced the provision for the bank assurance channel, so to say, to 2.5% plus costs. And then, yes, there's, just for information, there's a ChatGPT draft in the European Union regulations in draft mode. So to say, they are discussing, is there a need for regulation only, or for regulation and limitation of the usage or use cases for ChatGPT. But today, I would like to deep dive a little bit into the EIOPA warning. I mean, EIOPA as an institution, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, it was established more than 10 years ago, and it's called the European Insurance and Occupational Pension Authority, so to say, the supervision authority for any insurance and occupational pensions topics in European Union. And after the financial crisis in 2008 and 2007, they saw a lack of supervision and created, so to say, EIOPA as an institution. And I copied here a little bit what is the role of EIOPA. And here it says it takes a leading role in promoting transparency, simplicity, and fairness. Fairness, I want to highlight here, in the market for consumer financial products based on the regulations. And they, on the other hand, they offered us, or they shared their mission and tasks, and they call themselves as the heart of insurance and occupational supervision, so to say, right? I mean, they have strong goals and so to say, and during 21, 22, they did, so to say, a review of these CPI products. And I want to share with you today the key findings. So they were looking at mortgage protection insurance, consumer credit card, or also balance protection called products. So for example, we as Econobank, we offer all of these products. So we were deep diving into the topic. What EIOPA did is they asked 2 different questionnaires to insurers and banks, and these institutions, they were asking covering 75% of the GWP. So it should be quite high, driven by reality, I would say. And they asked, well, they did 100 consumer interviews in 10 EU member states. I don't know if 100 is good enough to be realistic driven, but yeah, that's how they did it. And the key findings, and that is something I would like to briefly have a look on, is that the EIOPA found out that limited choice and barriers to shopping around is one of the key findings. I mean, they call it findings because they think that more than 80% of banks tie CPI to the core product. I mean, yeah, that might be look from the day-to-day business point of view, but I mean, there is no legal tie-up in usually. But yeah, the banks itself, we need to take care at that point that we do not really, I mean, we do not tie the product, the insurance product to the banking product. We make it independent of both. That is, I mean, that is here what it says. Then we have comparability, and that is, I mean, in European Union, we have a lot of harmonization going on, but still we have a large variety of products in different European countries. But I mean, still this is based on a long history. For example, in Austria, Germany, Italy, wherever you're looking at, they have different insurance history, and the business has grown in different ways. So maybe that is true, but it's based on history, and yeah, that is something there will be, I guess. So actions will follow that will maybe harmonize even the variety of products. Cancellation and switching, and here I also found out that the consumers, as you can read, often encounter difficulties when wanting to cancel CPIs. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really seen such cases in reality, but they found out. So there should be some data proving that. But I mean, shouldn't be the case, right? Consumer preference and product design. That is something I have a personal opinion about, because I mean, insurance products should cover, so to say, my risks. So I mean, from my perspective, as long as the insurance product covers what I'm paying for, the risk, it should be fine. Here, the EIOPA is more differentiated, which is good, and is asking a bit for more tailor-made products. Issues with sales practice, yeah, that can happen in any kind of insurance products. I mean, that's for sure. But if they are focusing on CPI products, we need to look into and find out if there's anything for us to do. Yeah, it would, to be honest, here it would help me to understand a little bit more the details, what I also found out. And then high profitability for banks and insurance companies. Yeah, very good point. If for example, if you see here a retain between more than 70 to 92% of GWP, I would say, I mean, 90 is maybe by far too much. Yeah, but what is the right commission to take, right? I mean, you can see here the banks range between 30 to 70% for mortgage CPI policies and so on and so on. So that is fair enough, I would say, but the open question is, what is fair here? So that is something I, from bank perspective, or we as Econo Bank, we couldn't really find out what is the right so to the number of fair profitability, but we are in discussion, of course, with our cooperating insurance companies to find as soon as possible fair terms to our customers, and we take position about profitability here. And that leads, I mean, I guess a little bit on reflecting, that leads a bit poor value for money for consumers. So as I said before, I truly believe that insurance products make us sleep well during the night. For example, if you took the biggest investment in your life, you bought a house for your family, and then you, of course, you took a big loan, and you want to be sure that for example, in terms of unemployment, you want to be covered. You want to feel safe, and you want to feel you want to sleep well during the night and don't care about your big loan. Fair enough. If the pricing is exceeding a fair so to say, framework, then I can agree here. But of course, that will be again work for 23 for all bancassurance channels falling under this legislation, at least to think about what will be a fair term. And then, of course, what is expected now from the behavior from EIOPA? To summarize a bit, they want to continue their reviews, and they want to talk to more insurance companies and banks, and they want to discuss how, for example, costs get measured that you have as a channel, and bring that into consideration with so to say, with the premium paid by the insured person. But I mean, on the EIOPA warning, EIOPA was quite crystal clear that if the industry will, yeah, let's not make it too simple, but in general, they said if one bank or the whole industry will not find the right way to continue on fair terms, they are willing and able to cease the conduct and to desist from a repetition, as I said, of that conduct, including, and now it comes, including ceasing the commercialization of products. And if the individual bank, for example, or insurance company is not following them, they can withdraw of the bank registration as insurance intermediary. As you can see, the effect can be quite dramatic, but I think there are many steps to be taken if we are there. So I want to highlight with that slide only, let's together think about it, let's share what is fair and discuss that. And then EIOPA itself will follow up on the implementation of the warning. I mean, that is, so to say, a little bit unclear on timing perspective, a little bit unclear to me what will happen next. Do we need to wait for someone is expected from us to deliver something or just be prepared? So that is the outlook on that. So what we in IKADA Bank already did is we started again analyzing the customer value, and we are discussing, as I said, with our supply chain and partners what is on fair terms to be expected according to the EIOPA rules. Then give me just maybe 1 minute more to have an all the time ongoing challenge and opportunity, and that is what I call simplicity for the product management side. And I just want to, as so to say, as a last sentence, wanted to highlight that in product management, when creating products together with partners and bringing that to the market, there's a misunderstanding from time to time if it is about a simple product. So, I mean, we're all driven by regulations and requirements from law to ask different questions and all that stuff. We bring that into our customer journey, but still, sometimes, maybe you know that as well, in meetings, people say, shouldn't we make it more simple? And that is what this is here about, this slide. I want to, we as financial institutions, for us, it is okay to make it complex, to internally discuss on a very detailed level. The only thing I want to say is simplicity is on the front end. So it should be simple for the customer, so to say, to select the right product, to get advice in a simple way. But doesn't mean that we are only looking for the low-hanging fruits. That's what I wanted to say, so to say, as a last sentence here. Summary, we are missing hands today already, but at least in midterm, we have regulatory aspects to take care for, and we should always focus on simplicity on the front end, but it's okay to be complex in the back end. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael, for this great overview of bancassurance trends and challenges. I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions before we move to the next presentation. So, in your opinion, how has bancassurance evolved in general in recent years, and what do you see as the future of the industry of bancassurance?
Yeah, good question. I think the bank channel let's take it from insurance companies' perspective. The bank is a great channel because we are both financial institutions. We know that we are both regulated, and we are in that sense we are quite similar. The bank channel is usually a trustful channel. So even from consumer or customer perspective, they trust the banking channel, and more important for insurance companies, the banks are more and more willing to invest in the channel, meaning to as I said, to create cooperation, not only having a supplier approach, no, taking other responsibilities and investments in the full value chain. So from my perspective, and if I'm talking to many brokers and insurance companies, they are super excited and willing to cooperate and so to say progress and develop the channels.
And you talked about a little bit about the technologies and the simplicity in product management, and I want to ask you what kind of technological what kind of tech or innovations do you think that will affect the bank insurance the most?
Difficult question, because the approaches from even from the technical field, let's call it technical field, is so different, right? You see, for example, widget solutions very much in the Nordics. So you implement simple widgets into the website or the channel supported by insurance companies or banks, which is simple to reach solution. But if you look into the full, so to say, the full potential you have in embedded insurance, there's much more. So if we learn more about the banks or the financial institutions itself need to learn a little bit more what is possible, what is the potential, and then bring that into the channel, right? I mean, for example, as I briefly mentioned before, there's one big reinsurance company looking into a platform covering the full value chain. So from the I mean, not on the front end, but they will be the backbone from an early stage. And I saw another big, so to say, a big bank that has also very big insurance business. They are working on the backbone platform that is already working in a couple of countries. So I would say this is what I'm talking about, and this is where the fintechs can super strong support, and insurtechs, I always mean both. Yeah, but I would say if what is what will be the technology of the future, that is not up to me to foresee, but I see different options.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for the presentation. We'll see you later in the module and the panel discussion later on. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that was the first presentation of the first module. Now we're moving to the second session, which is called Insurance Distribution Challenges in 2023. It will be presented by Alina Serban. She's the head of external partnerships at BRD Asigurări de Viață. Alina, good morning. Please turn on your camera.
And good morning. I'm trying to also turn my camera. Hello, everybody. It is very nice to be here. I'm very happy to be part of the distribution webinar. Just a second to share my presentation, please. And we can go on. Okay, is it okay?
It's still not okay. Now it's good. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm Alina Serban. I'm head of external partnerships in BRD Asigurări de Viață. I have 20 years of commercial activity experience in commercial activity area, and out of these 13, I have been working in banking industry, and the last 7 in insurance. In those 7, I worked for 5 years in bank assurance, so I really understand very well what Michael was saying earlier. And the last 2 were very 2 challenging years as head of external partnerships in order to explore other distribution channels. So this is why I selected today this topic. Very shortly, because also Michael went through this topic, I will go through the challenging European environment that we are all facing today, with the strong challenges like inflation and supply chain issues and rising interest rates, increasing climate and technological risks that will and can have a huge impact on all our lives and could make us face changing market landscape in the future, starting 2023, actually. In terms of climate risks, the insurers maintain their relative exposure to green bonds, while the ratio of insurers' investments in green bonds to the value of green bonds outstanding decreased slightly. The global supply chains remained fairly resilient despite the COVID-related disruptions in China, and supply chain bottlenecks have continued to normalize, so that in January, the delivery times continued to improve, moving towards a neutral threshold, let's say. On cyber and digital risks, as they were assessed by the authorities of surveillance, we can see a slight decrease. However, those security topics remain a very high concern, considering the hybrid geopolitical conflict that we are facing today. The inflation remains the main challenge during this period, as it reached 8.6% in the euro area in January 2023. The largest contribution to the annual inflation rate in euro area comes from the energy component, as we all know, followed by food, services, and non-energy industrial goods. According to its latest monetary policy decision that was taken in October 2022, the European Central Bank has adopted new measure to ensure that inflation will return to the targeted level. Thus, they announced an increase of the 3 representative interest rates that was put into place starting November 2022. Despite the deteriorating macroeconomic context that was characterized by a high degree of uncertainty, the labor market continued to show positive dynamics with low unemployment rates levels. The European Commission expects the unemployment rate to rise only marginally from the minimum annual average of 6.2% in 2022 up to 6.5% in 2023. So, as a conclusion, the insurance and insurtech space will most probably change and consolidate due to the rising interest rates, the tightening access to capital, and lack of profitability. We in 2023 will require for the insurers to respond to strengthening their fundamentals as business-based as they face this challenge of a changing market. The year 2023 could also offer some game-changing scenarios that will impact insurance or could impact insurance. And I will give you 3 examples of such kind, like the fact that Amazon re-entered the UK insurance market with Amazon Insurance Store. This is an insurance price comparison provider. And for the initial rollout, Amazon has started with 3 insurers, but they announced that they will expand the list of the brands for the home insurance product that is the first they started with. The second example is that Apple could maybe consider to enter the health insurance market in the future, following the development of dedicated apps for healthcare providers that helps them work effectively within hospitals, connect remotely to patients, and conduct medical research. Apps on iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch, and Mac are capable of helping medical professionals deliver personalized care. Apple hardware is built so that it can keep up with the demands of healthcare organizations to make work faster and more efficient. A third example is Google. Google brings data and analytics to scale through partnerships with insurers like the one they have recently signed with Travelers. The partnership goal is to identify new and emerging technologies that will further enhance insurance risk management expertise, streamline processes, improve productivity and efficiency, and provide overall a better customer experience. The data ecosystem built on Google Cloud will use artificial intelligence and analytics to give underwriters more information about the potential customer's risk profile. So it's possible that in 2023, insurers to continue to acquire new distribution channels or insurtech technologies, following several other examples worldwide, giving this insurtech area higher exposure, let's say, and evolution. Now, if we talk about customer and strategy, because our strategies as insurers should be linked directly to the customer needs, the future is insurance also, as in all businesses, is customer driven. So to best face the new challenges in the market, insurers need to identify customer needs that should shape their business strategies. From COVID to historic inflation to severe weather events, customers are affected by a continuous stream of challenges that have shaken their sense of financial security in terms of how they can protect their homes, their cars, their lives, their financial well-being, and generally the entire future. While traditional insurance products are essential to creating peace of mind for the customer, new and expanding risks require new ideas and new approaches. Market dynamics and the evolving needs and expectations of younger clients, younger generations, are pushing insurers to break free from traditional operational and technological constraints and face the new requirements of the market related to expected insurance experience. This also relates to the new generation of clients that live in a completely different world than we used to when we were, let's say, younger. Because if we just take an example of a 4-year child today that is able to use intuitively smart devices, and sometimes they are even able to see or find some features of the device that the adults, the parents, was not able to identify. So this is the next generation of clients that insurers need to address too. And for them, digitalization, customer journey, and experience is key to take the decision of buying an insurance product. So we need to innovate as much as possible. Traditional distribution remains a very strong source of revenue in insurance. So brokers, insurance certified agents, they have the knowledge and the ability and expertise to guide the client in their insurance selection process, to explain the benefits of the insurance and perform the sales itself. This is and will definitely remain a solid distribution model for complex products on corporate and on retail segments. And innovation and digitalization in this area can only be applied probably for the post-sales customer journey, which is not necessarily linked to the customer, but it can reflect towards the customer, like the contract management part, the servicing of the clients, post-sales servicing, easy access for the insured for the information related to the product they bought, consumption, or other information related to the product. But the entire sales process will probably still need to be thoroughly performed by expertise sales force. I give you an example of what this means for Romania market. In 2022, we had 75% of the intermediated premiums in Romania done by brokers. And the majority of those intermediated products were the mandatory insurance, the MTPL and the property, which shows that there is also a really huge space of development on the brokers channel, which is already pretty important, 75%, but also on other channels, because we can think about ways of selling different other products, not necessarily through the brokers channel. So today's customers do not usually associate themselves with traditional distribution models, and they seek to buy insurance through other channels or some other entities. And most of the times they are not actually looking to buy an insurance, but rather get to this point through a customer journey that was designed for a specific partnership, including the insurance product alone. In addition, younger generations of clients have other trusted and loyal relationships with entities or sources, let's say, with entities such as economic groups or health and fitness organizations, manufacturers, automotive, big tech, and others, that demonstrates that partnerships and embedded insurance could really make sense. Distribution model is the key of an effective strategy for insurance products, and it tackles the core challenge of selling the products, meaning no person wakes up wanting to buy insurance, but they definitely wake up facing the real risks that in their lives. So unless it's mandatory or necessary, they don't take the insurance. And when it's mandatory and necessary, they will need to pay a very high price as they are clearly exposed to that particular risk, or maybe face the situation when they cannot be insured. So this means that we need to choose the right model. And today I wanted to talk about two models. It's the my preferred pro and con topics related to embedded products and optional entry model. So while embedded insurance creates the perfect operational environment for the client, the distributor, the manufacturer, if it's the case of a product, and the insurer, by making the insurance purchase automatically with the purchase of the dedicated product or the desired product, it takes out one important element for the client, and this is the optionality, the possibility for the client to choose or not for the insurance. And while the main pro is that the client receives a free of charge coverage in case of a certain risk, this model disables the client to fully gain the necessary awareness of the insurance product benefits. This translates on one side in a low claim ratio, which enables insurance to provide a low pricing, but cancels the entire sense of the insurance product provided, as it gets maybe not to be used, and by doing so, not to be perceived as a benefit. So in an embedded business model, which is the perfect one to follow out of my opinion, awareness is a key element for the distributor, the manufacturer, if it involves the manufacturer, and of course for the insurer. If on the other hand, a partnership is designed on an optional entry business model, distributors will probably properly promote the benefits of the insurance, and the buyers will consider it as a safety net and really understand the benefits of the product itself. These models implies the insurance to be paid by the client on top of the product that they purchase. And also a higher price results from both a higher expected loss ratio and a very complex operational process that is behind. That includes not only front-end subscription, but also management tools, potentially a dedicated training that needs to be done for the distributor to be able to sell insurance products, and so on. So embedding insurance with the product helps reduce the cost of the insurance, and it avoids anti-selection from exclusively higher risk individuals opting into the product, resulting in diversified risk and thus lower premiums. Embedding insurance across entire portfolios of goods and services adapts traditional distribution mechanism in a way that streamlines the risk journey and customer experience to provide additional value to the client. So what could be, let's say, our options? Probably investment in tech, as technology provides a foundation to adapt, innovate, deliver at speed to execute strategy and market changes. The growing importance and adoption of platform technologies, APIs, microservices, digital capabilities, advanced aggregators, new or non-traditional data sources, advanced analytics capabilities, Those are now critical to growth, profitability, customer engagement, channel reach, and workforce change. So from front office to back office, next generation software as a service platforms are reshaping the business environment from policy to customer, from process to experience, from static to dynamic pricing, from one-time to continuous underwriting, from historical view of data to a predictive and prescriptive view, from traditional to new, from innovative products to innovative products and more. I give you one example of Royal London, which is a large mutual life pensions and investment company in UK that launched a diabetes life cover, especially for people with types 1 or 2 diabetes. The customer journey is underpinned by the Calibre insurtech platform. It's supported by continuous underwriting and features an innovative risk assessment approach. So the platform improves the application acceptance process from a period of weeks to less than an hour. According to the company's press release, the platform provides a built-in flexibility to reduce premiums by up to 40% to reflect how well the customer is managing their diabetes by simply sharing their annual glycemic index test result. So an insurer's ability to create and develop an ecosystem of partners, providers, ideas to deliver increased value to the customer empowers it to deepen and differentiate customer loyalty, which is essential. Slow and steady investment in technology is at best incremental to keep pace with the expanding challenges in the industry. Given the pace and the nature of digital transformation, insurers will probably need to focus on their business strategy and the investments needed to adapt to the continuous changes they face. As a conclusion, I will say that even with the macroeconomic risks and other market challenges, every aspect of insurance is being redefined in this period in the context of the future and the latest technology, and the latest technology is fundamental for the future. Definitely resilience is essential in this world full of change and uncertainty, and will give insurers and insured the ability to avoid or minimize risk and mitigate recovery effort when needed. Integrated resilience into insurance will make it more relevant to customers. So leading insurers will use probably technology to assess and monitor risks with the aim of proactively respond, avoid, or minimize risk through value-added services. And they will most probably also include self-service more and more, giving the clients 24/7 complex and personalized solutions, which will make the difference in an innovation moving market environment. So not only the customers will embrace this, but insurers will create new revenue streams that deliver value to customers, increasing loyalty and trust. That would be it on my side. I hope it was interesting. If there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Alina. Thank you for this overview of insurance challenges and trends. I want to ask a few questions, but mostly related to the Romanian market. We have a lot of viewers coming from all over the CEE region, so I want to a little bit emphasize on those that would like maybe to expand into Romanian market, etc. So what kind of challenges do you see related to insurance distribution in the Romanian market in particular? Because as you mentioned, mostly the opportunities, but yes. I want to also hear a little bit about the challenges of the Romanian market. This is the first question also. And the second one is, what is the state of the insurtech, the technological companies that provide their solutions in the Romanian market?
Well, I will start with the second actually, because that's why my presentation was called Challenges. And that's why I talked a lot about insurtech, because this is something that we really lack. It's clear that all over the world, somehow this is the main trend, and this is what will make the difference. And I'm sure that not only in insurance market now, I look closely to insurance market because this is my area of interest, but this is something that is going all around us. So if we miss this in our strategies from now on, I think that's something that could be, a mistake from strategy perspective point of view. Now, if we talk about Romanian market, I can tell you some, maybe, you saw from out of my presentation, I like to be positive. So I don't want to give you the bad news. There is a huge potential. Romania still has a lot to win from sales point of view, from distribution point of view, from partnerships point of view, versus the rest maybe of the Central Europe. But the main challenges here are, on one side, the lack of tools that maybe we don't have on the market today. And in order to access those tools, you really need to put a lot of money into it, which at some point, the business case maybe doesn't look so positive when you try to see how much you can sell and how much do you need to put into in order to have that digitalized customer journey. And on the other hand, another big issue on Romania market is the level of awareness or level of the understanding of this insurance environment from the customer point of view. And here, this is, another information that I can give you is that we have a huge role. Us as insurers, brokers also, because they are a really big distributor channel here in Romania, all the authorities that are supporting insurance activity, we are all responsible of raising this awareness. I will give you just one particular example because it's really hot news, or not necessarily hot news, very related to what happened in Turkey recently. So we have on Romanian market only 12% of the households insured, which is pretty low. And in this context also, it shows how exposed we are to this particular risk. This is a simple product. This is a simple product. This is something easy to sell. But still, it is quite difficult to do so. And another example to show how this could change is something that it was done in a particular region in Romania by the authorities there. So the authorities put the information related to the mandatory insurance, house insurance, because we have a mandatory one and optional facultative one, in the annual information for the tax. So in that particular area, we have a 65% of the house insured. See the difference. So when everybody, is there and is getting involved, it shows that we can really catch this opportunity, and this potential of the market. As a conclusion, in Romania, there is potential, definitely, but we all need to work and do our part in this awareness and in this education, if you want, of clients.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alina. I think everyone listening in and looking at the Romanian market, they will turn these challenges into opportunities. Yeah. So thank you very much, Alina, for the presentation.
Thank you also.
Okay, so we're moving to the panel discussion, the last session of this module. The panel discussion will be moderated by Michael Döring, who we saw just recently. He's the Global Product Manager of Insurance Products at Icano Bank. And the panel discussion will focus on omni-channel distribution, discovering new distribution channels. Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, everyone, welcome to join our panel discussion. And I have the pleasure to introduce into the panelists. We have really strong panelists today. We have, for example, Sabine Osati from Unica. Right, Sabine, with more than 20 years C-level experience. Today she's today she's the CEO and the chairwoman of Unica Croatia. And if I'm not mistaken, Unica is has a super long history in insurance and
200 years, Michael.
Yeah, 200 years. Fantastic. Welcome, Sabine. And then we have Sebastian Radcliffe here. He's business product development at Riskin, and he's our today's expert in digital customer-centric advisory. Welcome, Sebastian. Hey.
Thank you very much for having me. Hi, everyone.
Then we have Benjamin from, I wanted to say Société Générale, but it's BRD called, right, in Romania. Again, more than 20 years experience in corporate and retail banking. So Benjamin, you're coming from the bank side originally, right? And but now you're into after stages in Croatia, you're now in Romania, and you're the CEO of BRD Insurances in Romania.
Yes, absolutely. Hello to everyone.
And last but not least, Yannis. Yannis, again, super experienced panelist today, more than 20 years in AIG Life and Compensa for non-life, and today sales director at Compensa, if I'm not mistaken. Yannis, welcome everyone to the board, to this panel board today. As Peter said, today we want to talk about distribution a bit, and as first topic, I would like to jump into it directly, if you don't mind, in a matter of time. We want to talk about the adapting to changing customer preferences and behaviors through digital touchpoints integration. That sounds super exciting, but I mean, to pick up our auditorium, maybe can I kindly ask one of the panelists or more to share the thoughts about what touch points are we talking about? I mean, what are the digital touch points we want to so to say develop? We want to touch in that discussion here. Who can I hand over to kindly?
So I can start, Mikey.
Thank you, Sabine.
To break the ice at the very beginning. I mean, referring to the Croatian market, but also bring some insights from the Austrian market. This is where I'm originally coming from, being responsible for Croatia since end of 2020. What we see is that the digital touch points, they are still under development. Let's say it like that. So far, we depend a lot on our conservative sales channels. I speak from our own sales channels like tied agents. I speak about brokers, agencies, and also partnerships with banks or car retail stores. So this is somehow the traditional way. Beside that, since years we try, I mean, I can say we really since more than 10 years, we try to be somehow part of the digital journey of a customer experience, something like that. We started with home being somehow offering web shops on the homepage, but we realized it is difficult to attract customers to visit the web shop, because why should a customer visit an insurance web shop? So that's the big question behind. And how is the convenience? How easy are the products explained? How easy are the services explained? And what is really the trigger to insure? We heard before from the Romanian lady that in Romania, I think she said 14% of household is just insured house, and that means this is a huge potential. And the question would be, Romania is a super large country. If you compare with Croatia, 4 million inhabitants, Austria, 8 million inhabitants, Romania is super big. So the question is how to attract this market to conclude household insurance, which is a super simple product, and you can offer it super simple on a mobile phone. And I think this is somehow the floor I want to open and invite all the others to discuss now how to go further.
Yeah, maybe Jonas, Benjamin wants to. Yes,
okay,
please.
of course.
Go ahead.
I can take over. Yes, so yes, you are completely right. I fully agree with Sabine. When we look at the market of insurance, so I will make some differentiation between life and non-life. On the life market in Romania today, it's mainly the bank insurance model that is still the most important one, and by far. Meaning that for the saving, when you want to take a saving or a protection insurance, the idea is that either you do it with the credit, or you do it because you have the advisory or the explanation from your relationship manager. And the initiatives that were done so far on the digitalization. So again, I'm talking about savings on the life market in Romania. Are for the moment really at the beginning. So we are very, very far. Regarding the non-life market, again, I fully agree with Sabine. I think that we have a huge possibility to develop through not only through the current bank insurance model, and we can go on activities that are a lot simpler, through the digital, through the brokers. On the non-life today, the market is really dominated in Romania by the motor insurance, so NTPL and the Casco insurance that represent roughly 60 to 70% of the market today. So if we want to go, and the distribution is mainly done through brokers. So if we want to go one step further, what we are intending to do is to try to sell home insurance through brokers, and also to develop digital capabilities to sell our home insurance. But you see that it's a significant change of behavior on the market to move to this different way of distributing these insurances. And the other element that Alina Sherban presented very well for Romania is that the awareness of the insurance and the need to be insured, it's something that remains really at a very low level. The average level of insurance in Romania is 10 times smaller than for example in Germany or in France. So it means that there is a huge potential that starts with the awareness, of course, with the simplicity of distribution. This is very important, but also on the confidence. This is why I would say that I think that we have to develop our capabilities on the distribution through digital, but the role of the relationship manager remains extremely important on the way to explain the models of insurance. So in a nutshell, if I conclude, we are developing capabilities to go on digital, linked with the bank or without the bank. So it's something that we are currently exploring, but also to develop the sales of products that are not motor insurance products through channels that are today highly dominated by the motor insurance products.
Thank you, Benjamin. And maybe then can I ask you, Janis, I mean, I think the country you are representing has much more digital impact or stamp already existing. Maybe can you share how these digital touchpoints are in Latvia, so to say, are running today? What is your experience?
Thanks, Michael, for question. So yeah, compared to CEE region, Baltics and as well Latvia are more digitalized. So let's start with that. We are in the situation that we have a lot of on electronic basis, electronic signature, PDF policies, payment by acceptance, and so on. If we speak about digital touch point as itself from the sales perspective, yes, we have web shops. So it is fully in Baltics motor driven. Yes, it differs country by country. Estonia, it's MTPL and MOD, and even through the aggregators. In Latvia, it will be mainly MTPL and travel, both web shops and aggregators, and in Lithuania as well. But if the key issue is that what is bought, the simplicity, and MTPL is easy to buy because it's now in Baltics direct regulation, at least in Latvia. So it means that there is no additional value for the customer as only the price. So it's easy. We can purchase policy in 30 seconds via hard authentication through the bank and easy. So even on weekend, I can buy it, flash payment, and it goes on. So other digital things are in claims side, in health things, because we really, in all companies, that you can make a claim application through the web mobile phone application on web page. So you have this interaction. So people love it. It's in distance. So even agents currently, our own sales, we are not meeting with a client to sell a household policy. So this is mainly interaction through the web. It is interaction through the phone and then send out policy. So we face a different issue in Baltics, especially in Estonia and Latvia. We don't love to sell, we love to serve. And this is a key issue that if you need to sell more added value, higher price, it makes more difficult because digital touch point is gives the client to compare the pricing. And this goes on commodity segment or not service segment. And I would like still to be insurance as a service, as not commodity only. So again, this is a question how to balance, but of course, for service point of view, it is very important as the banks do in Baltics, especially Nordic banks dominating in the retail. We are digital, we do payments in 10 seconds through the mobile apps. So this is important. For insurance, the same topic as colleagues from Romania mentioned, understanding why we need insurance is still rather low compared to Austria, Germany, and the awareness should be increased. And when you have a huge awareness, digital becomes very important. Until it is not aware 100%, digital is nice, but not giving the very, very decent premium income compared to other lines of businesses, except MTPL aggregators. We have brokers. So people are buying MTPL and aggregators very much. And this is a kind of, unique compared to other CEE region, but that's the fact.
Thank you, Janis. Perfect. And then Sebastian, does Riskin have an opinion about touch points?
Absolutely. I mean, lots of the important points were already mentioned. I think Sabina was talking about the difficulty of actually creating leads for website. I mean, they're also extremely expensive. Maybe just one data point. In Germany, currently, a qualified lead is around 100 euros. One lead. So this is extremely expensive, extremely difficult. And of course, you have different channels. You have the bank assurance channel, you have the broker channel, tied agents, online brokers, aggregators, and so on. And I want to look at it maybe from a slightly technical standpoint as well, like how we create those advisory solutions. And we think this is an increasingly important point, because how those touch points, whether digital or in personal advisory sessions, were created, they were often created as kind of silo solutions. So I think what's very important, and what's our philosophy as well on that, is that we create solutions with one technical core, and then you can, based on the context, you can send it out to different advisory touch points with the client. So this means, of course, when I sit with an advisor in a personal setting, it's different to when I do it online in self-service. I need more explanation. I need different type of questions. And also kind of the second time I sit down with an advisory, it's again different than the first time I sit down with the advisor. And we strongly believe that the full potential of digital advisor solutions and digitally supported touch point is when you have this consolidated technical core, and when you drive like a hybrid strategy where you build one digital solution that you can then send into different contexts. So this then means, what does it mean? It means a truly kind of customer-centric advisory over the entire life cycle of the customer. You can have a solution for the initial advisory session in person or digitally, then across channels, bank, broker, insurance companies. You can annual digital touch points, and then in between those touch points, you can have then event-driven touch points that again, kind of self-service driven. And they all originate from the same technical core, meaning you never have to, like in the most basic sense, it means you never have to type in the information twice. It means like highly individualized advisory as well across channels and across that touch points. So this is kind of the approach that we are implementing, and we were lucky to implement some of it actually with Unica in Austria as well.
Fantastic. I think that that is also very good to have the technical, so to say, perspective on to make it happen, so to say. Maybe just two comments from my side, not so serious, but it sounds funny to have home insurance coverage less than 60% in some countries, and in the Nordics and Germany, Austria, we are fighting for the movers because 97% or more are insured in the home insurance field. So it's different potentials. It's super nice, and on the other hand, super interesting to understand from Yanis that even if you have real high digital setup, then still you need to take care about who guides me, who advises me. That is at least my learning, Yanis, if I'm not mistaken. But if you don't mind, let's switch to a similar topic. The question is social media and digital methods. So I mean, how to engage the customer in that field. To be honest, it is maybe one touch point almost, but is there anything one of you is especially taking care of, focusing on? For example, in Austria, Sabine, I mean, how do you work with potential customers in online brokers, in social media, things like that?
Yeah, social media is a challenge, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it's really a challenging channel. Because what the hope behind is that you catch the customer direct when he's surfing in this channel. So far, I do not, but this is a personal belief. Maybe the other panelists have another belief. I personally do not believe that people really actively search for insurance in social media channels. This is my personal view. Maybe I'm totally wrong, might be. But what we see is, of course, we surf the social media channels. We work with influencers, yes. We try to target young customers because this is what we miss in our portfolio. Also, when we see our sales structure, age of our sales, own sales network, we see that we cannot attract the young ones. So out of this, we serve those channels, I would say. So it's more that we need it than that we love it. Before, I think Yanis mentioned, we love to serve. This should be our credo. I like it a lot because this is what I also believe. And the question is, and it's not only about social media channels, it's about where do we see the value of insurance and who owns the customer, or where do we see ourselves in this whole value chain? So far, we always said, okay, we need to have the customer connection and customer touch point. My question is a little bit, are we really the best for that? Because if we speak about embedded insurance and the difficulty in finding sales channels and how the demographic change is overall in our countries, we are old age societies. So the question is, how is insurance sold in future? And I believe that embedded insurance will increase a lot. And so we are much more, unfortunate to say, not the one who is really directly in this customer, who owes the customer, let's say like that. What was the dogma of the past? Who owes the customer? I think customers are not owned in future, and data of customers also not. Customer decides how convenient it is, and in this convenient situation, and maybe sometimes it's social media channel, yeah. Maybe I can buy my car on a platform, and on the platform I can easily decide how to finance and how to insure. And I think this is somehow what we need to prepare ourselves much more than stepping behind this. We need to be super attractive because customers are searching for insurance. I think it's much more embedded in future. It's my personal thought.
That is super interesting, Sabine, because I mean, that is the same for the banks a bit, because I mean, the question we ask ourselves is, where do we meet the customer? Right, and for example, I mean, if the bank has the right products in place, then it's easy to support the customer with an additional banking insurance product, right? I mean, as we just were talking about payment protection or mortgage protection insurances, that is, so to say, natural and comes, as in your example, the car with a car insurance, right?
Yes.
That absolutely makes sense. And Benjamin, Yanis, Sebastian, do you have thoughts on social media or as a channel or as an opportunity?
Yes, I have the same interrogation as Sabine. For me, so of course, the market is not the same, and our main concern is how to increase the awareness. So it's not somehow really in engaging our clients through social media, but it's more to communicate and to show what are insurances and what are the benefits of the insurances. We used a lot the earthquake that happened in Turkey, as Alina was explaining before, and the idea is that we are using it because Romania is a country that is at risk in terms of earthquake, and so we are using it a lot in order to promote the insurance and to explain what the insurance is providing in this context. So it's more a way to raise awareness than to really engage our clients through social media.
Yanis, for example?
Yeah, I would say that social media is mainly for brand awareness and insurance awareness as itself. When you look to whether clients are looking for insurance through social media, most probably not. They see the brand, and when they have the need at concrete time for insurance, and they can recall back it was VIG or whatever. But this is important because people are in social media and are taking those news. So we have good examples in Latvia how it works, but again, it's not for looking for insurance. It's mainly in general understanding the company and the insurance as itself, I would say. Otherwise, it's affiliate marketing. Colleagues from told that it costs in Germany €100 per one lead, so it's not so expensive in Latvia. But anyways, this is where we're working to get the leads coming to our e-shop, at least to buy this MTPL or whatever. But we do, and aggregators do as well. If you go to google.com or LV, you know, everybody wants to be in first 5. So they pay for that, or it's SEO, whatever. But these things are done to get more traffic in, because on online you need traffic. If you have a traffic flow leads, and you can sell it with pop-ups later or whatever, yeah. But this is kind of techniques. But general, this is my opinion, how it is working here in Baltics.
Sebastian, can you give us your perspective?
I'm actually surprised by how little importance the panel is kind of giving to social media. I mean, there's a couple of examples where it works really well. You have, again, in Germany, you have an insurance influencer who has like 600,000 followers on TikTok. I don't know exactly what the average age on TikTok is, but for sure it's below the age of 20. At the same time, you have kind of insurtech such as Clark, and they generate a high percentage of their clients from social media. And how they do it is they embed certain calculators on social media, where you can calculate your pension gap, for example, and then you have the direct transition into being a client and being advised on in different channels and different settings. With this comes a lot of other problems, because then you have a large client base, and you run into the problem of serving them and needing a call center and so on. But per se, I would give huge importance to social media as a channel to engage and maybe even sell insurance products, because especially a younger generation basically lives in social media currently. What did happen for sure, I think people have kind of acknowledged the value of the personal data to an extent. So they expect something in return for providing their data on any sort of channel, especially including social media. So that example of, for example, being able to calculate the pension gap and giving suggestions on how to mitigate the pension gap, that would be a perceived value add for which I would trade in some of my personal information to insurance companies and banks. So a lot more important, I think, social media than. But I guess I'm pretty much alone with my with my view here on this panel.
Sebastian, I think no, Sabine, you have raised your hand, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to refer, Sebastian, that was a little bit of misunderstanding. It's not that I do not think that it is not important, but I think as a sales channel, it is not used that much. And what you mentioned now is to embed it in a product, and this is what I mentioned. Yeah, you need, for example, we work with influencers from motor business, yeah, rally drivers. So they tell stories, and then at a certain point they speak about insurance. Is this super trustworthy? Yes, you have a certain interaction, but so far what we see is it's more the brand topic than the conversion topic. So obviously, probably, we are not able to do it 100% properly, or we missed a certain convenience. This is what I mentioned, yeah? So I think you need the channels, yes, but we did not find so far the secret to really sell and to really convert a lot out of these channels. We are still in this trial and error model, to search what is the approach, how to trigger this. Yeah.
In that case, I agree 100% with you. It's very difficult, and again, I think one example of a company that does it really well is Clark. They have lots of issues, but in terms of kind of generating a client base via social media, they do really well. And what they use to inject this element of advice into it's not pure marketing, they inject this element of advice into their campaigns, and this seems to be working quite well. But in that case, yes, I agree that it's a massive challenge, and I don't think as an industry we're quite there yet.
Yeah, and you create different personas, and then you search the influencers. You know, there is a lot of work behind. A lot of good intentions, but so far the attraction and the conversion out of this business is in the rising costs. This is increasing a lot, and to the relation to the input and the output, this is far away from expectations so far, unfortunately.
Thank you, Sebastian and Sabine, because you opened the toe you had yourself. Fantastic. So maybe I just want to add from bank's perspective another piece, so to say. I mean, some of you have mentioned the ownership of the data and the customer data, right? And then from the bank assurance point of view, if you are a bank and you're connected, for example, with a big retailer, right? And then you're selling, so to say, the question is, what is a strong brand? For example, if the strong brand and the well-known brand in social media, for example, is the retailer, and this retailer brings you traffic into the bank assurance channel, then bank and insurance companies have so to say, the profit out of that. And then the question of ownership of data and doing the next step, doing cross-selling, support the customer with more products and values. Then this question becomes into our daily negotiations even more weight. Just wanted to add that perspective. But anything else to add from to the so to say social media channel? If not, then I would move on to the omni-channel approach, so to say, which is a bit similar, but yeah. The omni-channel approach doesn't make it super simple, so to say. It is more complex in the beginning, but I think, Janis, you had experience with an omni-channel approach in Latvia, and you had something to share, if I'm not mistaken.
Not much to, I mean, share. Yes, we, in that perspective, I believe only in omni-channel. So why? We have different channels, web shop, aggregators, agents, bank assurance, broker. I believe in any company which want to be the top 3 in Latvia or in any country. I believe that this is a key, because with one only channel, it's hard to get ambitious, and this depends a bit of ambitious which company are putting aside after. For VIG, it is at least top 3. So it means that we need to be everywhere, because then clients know us. And this is a key for me. And it has been always, I believe, and in non-life insurance this for sure works. In life insurance, a bit different topic, because in Baltics, it's purely, at least in Estonia, Latvia, dominated by the bank assurance. And this is a very tough topic to change it. And it's mainly related to the, in Baltics, as I told, we don't love to sell. And bank assurance has access to the clients, sorry to say, but they see everything about us in every place and how we move and what we do. And they know at what time to call you when the money appears on your account. So it means they have this bigger touch point. And why it is so? Because as insurers in general, we have very rare touch times with the client, maybe 3 times per year, maybe 4, not more. And this is a key issue that versus banking, we have not so often touch points. Not often we meet the client, we meet when they sell, when we meet when their claim is. Bank is on daily basis, and this is a big difference which we face, and how to change it. This is our biggest trouble, because some of the channels are aging, like agency network. It does not get younger, and this is a big problem, because new people don't want to sell. They want to have everything in one place. So again, then we see that different channels are starting to dominate, like bank assurance or dealerships or whatever. But in general, yes, omni-channel is good. We need it, and in different channels, better penetration for sure. Nothing more to add. I believe it's everywhere, but other colleagues are welcome to comment.
Yeah, and Sebastian, do you have from? Can I kindly ask you to do you see any challenges in the technical, so to say, background of doing omni-channel? I don't know if this question is too generic, but
no, it's fine. I mean, I 100% agree. It's omni-channel is it's expected by now. And from a technical, it kind of relates to my answer to the first question. When I start, let's say I start a journey in my customer portal, or I started on the website, so I'm authenticated or not, or I started with a broker or somewhere else, like in the banking space, or even with the tied agents of the insurance. and I do not finish the journey because it's a complex product, because it's multiple products, and I want to continue in a different journey. This has to be seamless. Yes, I don't want to have to send a PDF to my broker and say, hey, I did the calculation on the insurance website. Here's the results. I want the broker to have the results already with my permission, of course. And that goes for all the channels. So that comes back to the importance of creating those solutions, not in a silo, but with one integrated core. And that's something we push very heavily. One example being not even across channel, but even across countries. With one large, this time not Unica, but with one large insurance company, we built basically a platform for Austria and all the CEE countries across multiple channels, across multiple countries, with one consolidated technical core. And this gives you a lot of benefits. For on the one hand, customers are able to have the seamless integration of all the channels, and this is, for me, is true multi-channel, not being able to access it in different channels, but being able to access it across channels, so to say. And you can then have and run analytics across channels as well, because you have a unified data structure, you have a unified technical core, and then you can run analytics across channels, across countries, across products, and then it becomes really powerful in terms of how what type of experience you provide to the customer, but also how you can actually manage it internally.
Fantastic. Yeah. Sabine or Benjamin, anything to add? Yeah, Sabine, you raised your hand.
Maybe that sounds so super nice, Sebastian, what you're speaking about. Super smooth, super easy, but in reality, it is so difficult because pricing is a major topic. How to price this seamless journey, and data, you mentioned it, data entry points, and this is really big challenge for all of us, I think. So far, I have not seen one example, or not. I'm not aware. Maybe you know an example where this works really good.
I agree, of course, with you. It's probably not as easy as it make it out to be. Like, we put a lot of work into that as well. But I think as an industry, we actually have it's a great sort of, in the past, let me start there. In the past, all the data, also how kind of insurance core systems were structured. We have contractual data saved, yeah. But the real value of I think, or the even more important data when it comes to designing those omnichannel advisory channels is actually the advisory output. What do I mean by this? Like, for example, without wanting to advertise too much what we do, but as an example, because that's what I know well, is we start our advisory sessions with a general risk assessment. That in itself has nothing to do with the product yet. This is a personal risk profile for the customer. What are the wishes and dreams? What are their needs, and so on? And then we have this profile. This type of data does not exist yet in insurance core systems, which has the big advantage that there's no need to kind of unify it across markets, across channels, because it doesn't exist. And this type of data, this is the same no matter what type of product I purchase. So I think there's a step before the actual contractual data that you can more easily, and this is also the example that we implemented across the CEE region with an insurance company. This type of data you can then actually gather. It's a new type of data you can gather in a very structured way and compare across markets. And this data involves wishes and dreams, my personal needs, my personal risk profile, that type of stuff. I agree with contracts, and then actually pricing of contracts is a completely different matter.
Yeah, and Benjamin, you have a question about that? You raised your hand.
Yes, exactly. No, I think that the question of the data, it's a really a big issue for us, at least. Even if we are in a model of bank insurance, we are different entities, so we need to have agreements. We need to have GDPR agreement when we want to use the data of the client. So it makes it quite quite complicated. And yes, for us, it's a permanent concern on how we can move ahead. So we have several, of course, projects to implement more and more this kind of actions, this kind of cross-selling. We didn't talk so much about we talked about the embedded, but not so much about the cross-sell, which is, I think, another very important topic on how we can propose additional insurances and identify the next best offer in order to circle the process with the client and to ensure that we are making the right proposal to the client. We are really at the beginning for this on the bank on the one side, but also on the insurance side, because we are completely linked with them. So yes, the data for us, it's a very, very important challenge. And I think it will remain. It's something on which we will need to all the time to work. If I do a campaign today, it means that I need to check first that I have the right GDPR agreement from the client. I cannot rely on an extraction that I did 1 week ago, because it may have changed in the meanwhile. So we need all the time to be completely in real time on these actions. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is on the omnichannel. Yes, it's a request. We see that the clients would like to start to make some actions on their mobile, and then they come home. They want to be able to have the same level of progress on the computer, and also when they call the client directly on the contact center, they want to ensure that the client, the agent in the contact center, has the same level of information as the client. So it's a challenge also to ensure that all of this is consistent and working with the same level of coherence. And on top of that, I think that this question of how to use these technologies that are somehow platform-based, we need to have a platform where you have all this information that is common to different, whatever the channel that you are using. How this system can be done in consistency, in coherence, and can be used also for cross-sell and commercial rebound.
Absolute. Dear panelists, we are running out of time, but what I want to say is thank you all, and I want to shortly wrap up. I mean, what we have been discussing is going from what touch points are we talking about, where do we meet the customers, and if we have met him, and on which channel, what do we do with the data, how do we continue, and what is the regulation or the regulator is waiting for us or has in mind for us, so to say. What we cannot, so to say, in matter of time, cannot continue with this ChatGPT as an opportunity, but I think that is something we can maybe in the Q&A or in a later stage discuss a little bit about. From my perspective, being part more on the bancassurance side, it was super helpful, very good insights, and with technical and commercial understanding, and even the different kinds of, let's say, level of digitalization in the different areas in Europe, especially. And from my perspective, I would like to thank you very much and would hand over back to Peter.
Thank you all very much. That was indeed a very interesting panel discussion. We're slightly running out of time, so we're gonna wrap this up and move to the break. So, Michael, Benjamin, Sebastian, Sabine, Yanis, thank you very much for the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye.
dear viewers, so we are going to take a short break. We will be back at 12 o'clock. So in 15 minutes, we will start the second module with which will focus on digital sales and the purpose, the importance of partnerships. And the first session will be a case study from a PKO bank on their mobile app development. So stay tuned, enjoy the break, and see you all in 15 minutes.
Yes.
Welcome back, everyone. That was a short break, but I hope refreshing. We already have the next speaker here, so let's just jump right in. The next presentation we have is called Utilizing Your Mobile App Effectively. And the presenter is Tomasz Manko. He's the Vice President at PKO Bank. Hi, Tomasz. Nice to see you. Please introduce yourself before you start presenting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tomek Manko. I am Vice President at PKO Insurance, which is the subsidiary insurance company of the PKO Bank Polski here in Poland. And I have for you today a short story about how we use the application of the clients of the bank in order to achieve competitive advantage on the highly competitive and highly saturated house insurance market in Poland. So let me share the presentation with you in just a second. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes, everything works.
Okay, so as I said, it will be a short story. First, I will describe to you the actors, PKO Bank Polski and PKO Insurance, then the application, and then I will explain to you how we use the application in order to gain competitive advantage and to realize our business goals on the housing insurance market in Poland. So, PKO Bank Polski is the largest Polish retail bank with a vast number of 11 million customers, with over 9 million individual banking accounts, with over 1,000 bank branches in Poland. And we have maybe around 15,000 advisors, most of which are certified insurance advisors. So we work on a daily basis with these advisors in order to provide the customers of the bank with insurance. PKO Insurance, or PKO Ubezpieczenia in Polish, is a relatively new company on the market. It was established in 2016. It's a member of the PKO Bank Polski Capital Group. And we were established in order to exploit, to develop the potential of PKO Bank Polski in the bancassurance area. And traditional bancassurance, meaning credit protection insurance or credit card insurance, is kind of saturated, and we were thinking about the new ways to develop and enlarge our business. And we set our eyes on the mass protection products that are provided on the market. Such products are two: it's car insurance and house insurance. So today I will talk to you about house insurance. To make a context for you, there is under 16 million houses and flats in Poland, and more than 2/3 of them are insured. The value of the market, the annual premium, is 340 million euro per year, and the average premium paid by a single customer per year is just 31 euro. There is the average compensation in case of loss. It's under 500 euro, it's 454 euro. And most of the customers, almost 70%, buy their home insurance from an insurance advisor, from an agent, basically. Only 12% of the insurance are purchased online. And let me explain to you that housing insurance is generally a yearly renewable policy. So it means that every year these millions of policies are renewed, and most of them are renewed with the assistance or help from advisor or agent. So very few, just about 12% of them are renewed and sold online. So it's a huge market, and we were thinking that we could play a big role on this market, taking into account the big customer base of PKO Bank Polski. Now,
thinking of the competitive advantage, we set our eyes on the ICO, or IKO, or ICO for short, as we call it, which is the mobile banking, the application that the clients of Pekao Bank have in their phones. So to give you a quick overview, what is ICO? This is the application that was created in 2013, and until today, this application has 7 million active users. 7 million active applications are working in Poland. And this is a daily banking application of all the customers of Pekao Bank Polski. We thought that access to this application will be a unique feature that cannot be easily achieved by any insurance company. Generally, people don't download and use on daily basis applications of insurers. So having access to this kind of tool seemed like a very, very strong competitive advantage to us. Now, what it means that there are 7 million active users? Basically, it means that every day, hundreds of thousands of logins are happening, hundreds of thousands of transactions are happening on this application. People have it on their phones, and they access it and they use it. As you can see, there was a progression of increase of number of users. And this progression, let me jump to the next slide. This progression was achieved by making ICO like a kind of a lifestyle application. I mean by that it is, of course, a very robust and efficient mobile banking application. You can do all the banking stuff in this application. You can set up an account, take a loan, make a deposit, and do a bunch of other things that you normally would do in the bank, in the branch, or on the website. But this application also has a lot of other useful features. The team of ICO developers worked to make it this lifestyle application. So what you can do in this application, for example, of course, there is insurance functionality inside ICO application, but there is also functions like paying for parking, like buying tickets, a lot of other value-added services that are in this application. And these services make the customers use the application more often, access it, and by this they expose themselves to the messages and opportunities that we as a group provide for them. As you can see, 236,000 logins per hour. So it's a very, very living application, something that is really, there is a connection with customers. Now, we needed to make ICO a place for insurance. So we ask ourselves, what should the customer of the bank, what should they do with the application once they become our insurance customer? I remind you that we speak here about home insurance. So everybody has to, most people, 2/3 of people in Poland, they insure their homes and their flats. So what you should do in the application, and I'm starting here from the top on this beautiful circle chart, we present the offer in the application. There is the full offer of insurance is presented. Then you can purchase the insurance. You can do it inside the application. After, you can manage your policy. So you can change data, you can go into interaction with a bot or an advisor, you can write and receive messages and so on. So you can manage policy and there is communication with customers. Very important is claim management. So for those clients who have the bad luck and something happens, they can manage the claim in the application. So again, they don't need to do anything unusual. And you can, let's stop on this for a second. You have your application that you use every day. You make payments. You look at your bank account. You are used to working with this application. And then when something happens, you have some damage at your home, and you want to notify the insurance company. You want to ask for help. You don't need as a customer You don't need to do anything unusual. If you call our hotline or you contact us, we will just ask you to open your application that you know. We just ask you to use this application in order to manage the claim, to submit the claim, then exchange information, maybe send us photos and so on. So this is a very, very customer-friendly way of claim management that we use the application for. We use it also for conducting customer surveys. And again, the last functionality on this chart, we do the full circle, so insurance renewal. And as I told you, these are yearly annual renewable policies. So if you can imagine, if there is around 10 million or 11 million such policies in Poland, it means that every year there is 11 million renewals. So to be able to do these renewals in a kind of self-service model with a pre-approved offer, to make those renewals with a one-click process in the application, this is just priceless. Clients can do that in the application. So as you can see, ECO is you can say it's ideal environment for our insurance. We found so many functionalities. We found that ECO can be so useful for customers in the insurance area, in managing your policy, that of course we had to do it like this. And these all functionalities were designed and implemented inside the application. Of course, our product is an omni-channel product. So everything that you can do in the application, you can also do by phone, you can do it with advisor, you can do it on the website. But it was not always the case that you could do that all inside the application. And of course, when you work with a mobile app, you don't sign papers, you don't print anything, you don't send anything. It's all digital. It's all paperless. Now, just to give you a flavor, you cannot just take the insurance application, give it to an engineer, and ask him to make it work in a mobile phone. It doesn't work. Insurance products and insurance application forms are not designed to be managed in mobile on the screen of the mobile phone. It just doesn't work. So we had to do a very careful selection of all the information that we process with the customer at the application, and make the screens and the user interface as efficient as possible. So here you can see on the left-hand side, you can see the screen of selection of the insured object, if it's a flat, a house, or a house under construction. So you have this kind of infographic interface that makes it very, very easy for customer to go step by step through the application process. On the next, the middle screen, you can see we ask about the floor, the level of the flat. If it's low, medium, or high, we don't even ask the customer on which floor is your flat. We don't really need to know if it's 4th or 7th floor. We don't care. We want to know if it's in the middle or top or bottom floor. And this is how all the process works. And it gives us all the necessary information to make a proper individualized underwriting, because every client, when they fill in this application, they received an individual price based on individual underwriting performed by our pricing engine, based on all the information they provide, and based on the location of the flat or house. So it's not a common premium for everybody product. It doesn't work like that. It's a fully individual dynamic pricing that is taking place after the client fills in the application. It's very important that not only that the process is very, very lean and simple for customer, it's also important that the process is very agile, that you jump from one screen to the next within 1-2 seconds. There is no time for customer to sit there and wait while you have some kind of clock turning around on the screen processing information and so on. The last screen that you see is a presentation of the proposal of the offer with the price and with a clear indication of what is insured. And all this was achieved, this simple and convenient customer journey and this very sophisticated pricing mechanisms were achieved by a very strong engine that was built underneath that integrated the banking front end and the insurance backend, which is providing all the offer, pricing, and so on. And the last point about the application is that the best application in the world, if you put the best product in the world in it, you will sell exactly zero products to zero customers. You have to educate customers. And we consider this, the education of customer, we consider to be the key success factor in using the application and in using and in purchasing our product. So what I mean by that is that we have adapted the advisor-assisted sales model, which means that all the many thousands of our advisors and the many thousands of customers that talk to them every day, they use this opportunity, this contact, to talk with customer, to go with the customer through the application. Instead of just issuing the policy for the customer, they invite the customer to make this kind of self-service purchase at the branch. The process is omni-channel, which means that you can break the process at any moment in your phone and you can pick it up on the advisor desktop. So it's very easy to manage this assisted process. But this process allows us, when we gain a new customer, we can, at the time of subscription, we can already start to teach the customer how to self-service the insurance, how to renew the insurance in 1 year with the self-service process, how to manage the policy with a self-service process. We explain to customers that it will be in the future more convenient for them, more efficient, less troublesome to just take out their phone and do whatever they need to do with the policy than to go to the bank, to call, to discuss. This model works very, very well. It's not my goal today to talk about the sales results. I wanted more to talk about the application, but probably I should mention that since 1 year, this product has been introduced in the branches of the bank in the application, and we have already accumulated more than 400,000 new policies in a year and 3 months, a year and a quarter, 5 quarters. So this is 4% of the market, more or less, that we have gained within a little more than 1 year. So it works well. It works really, really well on the commercial level. And this process that I just showed you is strength of this product, of this sales process. And to finish this story, I wanted to share with you what were the main challenges that we encountered or we still encounter on the go as we work in this environment. First of all, this is always a problem to make two channels, the traditional human-based channel like a banking advisor and the digital fully self-service channel like a mobile app. It's difficult to make them coexist. So we have a constant effort to make sure that we have a good coexistence between the channels, to make sure that the advisors work in a way that is contributing to our business goals, which means that they don't only generate new sales, but they also encourage and transfer people to the self-service channel. They need to be rewarded not only for sales, but they also need to be rewarded for the transition into digital. You could say that transition of the client into digital is a loss of the client for the human-based channel, but actually it's not the case. We think that clients who are fully digital, we have more opportunity and more possibilities to work with them, to build our relationships with them. So we don't have salespeople anymore. We have advisors. They don't make a sales conversation with the customers. They make advisors and they build relationships with the customers. So that's a very, very nice way of development for your sales to people, and it's assisted and it's enabled by the digital processes that are in place. Now, about the pricing, we still don't know what is the best approach. It's very difficult to vary prices among customers for the same product for regulatory reasons, for other reasons, especially if the product is omni-channel. But still, self-service is cheaper. Self-service is something that we would like to reward. So maybe some challenge in this area as well. Now, the next challenge is to measure and to scale up the online sales. Today, we have a healthy proportion of about 15% of sales are online, which is a lot. In number terms. It's several hundred new policies per day, but it's on relative terms, it's not a lot. It's one in six of the policies is purchased online. 5 are still purchased with the advisor. I think the real business goal or sales goal here will be in the renewal, which should be probably 100% online. And the last challenge that we have is about the omni-channel solution. Omni-channel is very difficult. It's a technological challenge. At the same time, it's not really used by customers. It's very rare that customers use this functionality, that they start somewhere and end somewhere else. So I'm not sure. Probably it should be like that, but I cannot still see a very clear business return. So that's about it. I think eco is our huge advantage in terms of our competitiveness. We still need advisors. Eco by itself will not ensure sales success. But without eco, the advisors would have a much harder time. And definitely this application and its functionality is helping. We have proven that it's possible to sell a lot of insurance online, but at the same time, I think we have proven that it's not possible to only sell online. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. If there are any questions, I will be happy to try to answer.
Thank you very much, Tomasz. So that was very impressive. The numbers, the project that you worked on, and the results that you achieved. Very impressive. We have a question from the audience. Someone wants you to more emphasize a little bit on the policy management. So the question is how you create a link between the customer and the insurer in the policy management section of the application.
I would say we just if you mean how it looks in the application, this is a very, very ergonomic application. So the screens that I showed you, they are very simple, and the client just touches the buttons. They do it as if they were working with their banking products. Now, what is happening behind is really a tough question, and someone with a huge technological background should answer it, because there is a huge engine of exchange between the bank and the insurance company, because all the processes of the insurance policy are taking place in the policy management system. So this, what I showed you, is only possible if you have a very, very heavy integration between the front-end operator, in this case, it's the bank, and the insurance company. And normally, if you are an insurance company, you just create your own application and you integrate it as you want with your backend systems. In our case, this integration is achieved between the bank and the insurance company, and it's a fully online integration. That I can say, it's just online integration. So our insurance products are embedded in this financial context, just like any other product that the customer of the bank is using.
And how long did it take this project? Just on average, this is mostly coming from my question.
Yes, we have. After the decision was taken just before the epidemic. So when we launched the project, it was in early 2020, right? Just the first quarter, and we developed everything fully on home office environment. So we have hundreds of people working from home with bank, insurance companies, some advisors, IT companies. All was in the cloud, and we launched the sales. We launched at the end of 2021. So it took us about 1 year of preparation and development, and about 1 quarter of deploying the product into the network, because we have big networks. So it was 3 months just to deploy the product, to train everyone. And we started sales in September 2021, and we started development like middle 2020.
And you mentioned that hundreds of people worked on this project, and you also had to experience the online, the virtual format, the remote work. And did it also create a next level of challenges? Do you think if it was in one environment, in an office environment, it would take shorter period of time, or did it make
no,
it
I think no, I think we did it taking into account that this was the very first omni-channel development for our bank. The insurance companies, they can very often be a kind of technological lab for their owners, for the banks, for bigger institutions. So we developed all the new technology, all the new solutions. First, omni-channel, fully omni-channel digital experience for the customer. It was all developed, and it was done in kind of take or give 1 year from whiteboard to the working prototype. So I cannot imagine it being done any faster than that. It's just, and Pekao, it's not a small bank with very agile environment. It's a huge bank with a lot of operations. So I don't think we could do it any faster.
I see. So the remote environment was not like a factor that.
I think by now we are used to that, and it is just how we work. It doesn't disturb anymore.
All right. Thank you very much, Tomasz, for this presentation. Again, really impressive results and interesting project. We're going to jump on the next panel, which you're also part of, and maybe we'll hear from other panelists, their views and opinions on the mobile apps and the development of mobile apps. So the next panel we have is called The Importance of Intermediaries and Digital Sales, Transforming Your Sales Strategy. And the moderator we already saw earlier today, Jānis Lasis. He's the head of sales department at Compensa and Latvian branch. So Jānis, over to you.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Peter. So yeah, nice topic to discuss. Really interesting, and meanwhile very challenging for us. So I will try shortly to introduce my colleagues. There we have Michal, my colleague from the VIG group. Then we have Vladimir from Almond Group. Sabina, you saw it today before from Unica, and as well Tomasz. Great presentation, thank you. So key topics. Let's start with the first one, and it is challenges, opportunities for insurers in building and deploying digitally employed sales force. And I would raise to all the participants the question, what we understand by digital sales force, whether this is only the sales or this is much wider, servicing client. So who are the first one to say their opinion? Let's start with Michal, maybe my colleague from VIG, so maybe he can start, and then I jump to Sabina.
Thank you, Jānis. Hi, everyone. I'm Michał Miklewski from VNR, VIG Group, as Jānis mentioned. And I'm responsible for sales, for retail sales, and in our company, our main channel is a very traditional channel. So we cooperate with numbers of agents, of sales people who are dealing with clients directly. That's why I'm from this side of business, which is looking on the sales process with this human touch perspective. Of course, we can observe that the life is changing, especially after COVID time. We can observe that the clients are not coming to the offices, to the branches, to the sales points. But they are servicing. They use the advisement of our agents. But this technical part of sales, so making a policy, issuing a documents was shifted during the pandemic time. Was shifted to somehow online tools, not applications or websites, but to communicators, to WhatsApp messengers and emails. From this perspective, I would like to say that digital sales in this point of view, we on our market, on Polish market, it is still I would say traditional sales using online tools, but this is tools for communication, not for sales, not for making a whole process. As Tomek presented his app, he shows that in the app, client can buy policies, to get an offer, buy policy, and manage all things with this policy. I think that on Polish market, it is still the future. Still our clients, probably because of some difficulties with understanding of insurance. The insurance, it is not a simple product, which is simple for client to understanding. So that's why our clients usually still want to use advice from the human, from the agent, but of course not in the way as in the past, by coming to the office. We can say that there is the client is feeling safe with human advice, and that's why from my point of view, we still have on the Polish market, I can say that the human sales supporting by online tools for communication and for exchanging the information and documents.
Michal, thanks for your comments. Sabine, what is your experience? Austria, Croatia?
Now, yeah, referring to Croatia, we are quite traditional. Also, and also from the market, from the peers on the market. So we are quite conservative market based on or concentrated on motor. Motor is almost 45%, 50% of the total market. But on the other hand, this is a big chance for digitalization because it's a quite easy product. So, and the question is how to digitalize the process. So I do not refer just on sales, but really to pre-sales and after-sales process. And the question is, in the pre-sale process, what we see also on the Croatian market is that customers, they research online. And the question is how to support this online research. And when is the point where offline comes into it, because there are certain advisory needs for the customer. This is, let's say, what our ambition is, to support the sales, the traditional sales force with some digitalized technical supports like electronic signature, better support in explanation of the products, for example, videos, all those stuff in the pre-contractual phase. In the contractual phase, the digitalized signature, and after sales, the whole claims procedure, which is, I think, a big topic when we speak about service, because this is the phase where really our core business comes in force. So, we start with, and a lot of us are doing this, the automatized claims procedure, which is a big topic when we speak about cost, but also when we speak about convenience for customers, and also when we speak about forwarding the money in a short-term period to the customer's bank account.
Sabina, super nice topics you touched. Most probably it is important for everybody. Our colleague Vladimir, any your comment on that side?
Yeah, thank you, Yanis. As insurance broker coming from Serbia, after almost 2 decades of experience in two major players in insurance companies, we are trying to bring new solutions in Serbian market, mostly by importing something which is working abroad, localization of some international solutions not present still in Serbia, or reinventing some traditional products in order to be very straightforward to new generations, because we believe that we need to adapt, and we cannot do it quickly. We still, as insurance as industry, not just insurance companies, both brokers and agents and insurers. So we see that younger generations don't have time nor will to communicate effectively in traditional way about traditional products. That's why we are working on parametric insurance. We are working on sublimits in household SME with simple lines, with simple sentences, in few lines describe what is the exact scope of cover, and because after third exclusions or fourth exclusion on the list, we are losing them in usual sales conversation.
Vladimir, nice to listen to that point, what is in Serbia from broker point of view. Tomasz, great experience banking together with insurance. If to jump in Latvia, we have Swedbank cooperating similar way. The question is to you as well, how you see this full process, because sounds that you have a good experience in that, and in reality the success is that you have a consultation instead of online sales, simply having the digital app on the table. So again, do you see this as well, not only sales point, but as well the claims application issue or whatever, and how is the plans for developing these things further?
Yeah, so we have a very customer-centric point of view, not technology-centric. So we only use the technology as long as it goes in line with the expectations of the customers. We did believe that it is appropriate for customers to take their insurance cover in the bank if the product is simple, if it doesn't require a lot of sophisticated advice. It can be done in the app, in the banking branch with the banking advisor. This is basically what house insurance or motor insurance is like. It's a commoditized product. So we believe that it's appropriate to put this product in this environment. And we also believe that the application should fulfill all the basic needs, most of the basic needs of the customer. If you have application which does 60 or 70% of the things, but for the rest, half of the customer have to call or come to your place, it's not a good solution. It does nothing good. You could do without application basically. So that's the approach that we had, and it took us, after we developed the MVP, the first instance of the product, which was in September 2021. It took us over 1 year and more than 10 technological sprints to develop all the additional functionalities. We have just finished developing the application like 2 months ago. After 1 year, it has finally all the functionalities that we have designed at the beginning. So it's a very, very rich environment for the customers. And now what it allows us to encourage all the advisors to push the customers to the application. They cannot tell us anymore, I prefer to talk with customer because there is so much he cannot do in the telephone. I prefer to talk to him because if he uses the telephone, he cannot do this, he cannot do that, he has to call me. There is no such excuse anymore. And it's just better. And 99% of the users and of the advisors understand it. So it's a kind of, we believe that you have to create the environment which will just direct the flow of customers into the application. And we did just that, and it works. I would say that the more the application can do, the better. And you should not allow yourselves any kind of comfort that, oh, that's maybe too expensive or not important. Clients will want to have full digital experience once you educate them. And we see that happening. And the only process that still requires human touch and will probably require the human touch is the relationship-based sales model. Because you have no relationship with the application and never will have.
Nice to hear the good, excellent experience. So could be some hints for us of all. But as we are in very regulated sphere, the question which I would again rise to up is the second one is about the ethics of digital sales, how we handle this IDD requirements, how we feel that through the digital sales we can manage full need base for the client and its analysis. So would be nice to hear whether you have some colleagues you have thought about this, and I would ask Sabine to comment on that, and then maybe Michal.
Yeah, thank you, Yanis. I mean, the ethics much more belongs to the GDPR topic, I would assume, than to the IDT topic. So GDPR is somehow, from the consumer perspective, my own perspective, I would say it's good, yeah, because I would like to be the owner of my own data. That's clear. From the business perspective, of course, it makes our life much more complicated because we need active consents from customer to approach them, and here IDT starts to be also play also an important role. All this pre-contractual information and this gathering of data. On the other hand, I think if you, and I did not see the best model on a very best model on the market so far, but I personally believe that if you are as transparent as possible, or not even as possible, that it requires 100% transparency towards the customers. What do we need their data for? And if I, as a customer, decide that is an advantage for me and it makes my life more convenient and it brings me, or I will have a really good supported customer journey, which then I will agree. And this is the key, I think. And this is so difficult because customers are different. It's not easy to scale this model. Yeah. And therefore, in my opinion, everything what we so far not embedded, I do not speak about embedded insurance, about standalone insurance, what we try fully digitalized does not attract too many customers because the experience is not so super convenient so far. And this is the key. I do not have the solution. I have to say, therefore, I'm quite curious how the others see that. And the example of Thomas is really interesting. In the Croatian market, we also, the biggest market player decided to have an app. It's Lako. It's a part of Croatia, Osiguranje. They have more than 20% of the markets. And they made a second brand, which is a fully digitalized model. They invested a lot in marketing. When you ask about really figures and success on the market, you do not see a lot. It's partially cannibalization of their own network. And of course, you attract certain customers, but is it enough to live from it if it would be standalone? No, it's not. It would make losses. And this is somehow the difficulty we are in, from my point of view.
Sabine, nice to hear. Could be. I as well believe that partly this digital sales, it's like a competition to existing sales channels. This is one thing. And we have a great experience in Baltics is about this bank assurance, but still the key most probably difference which Tomas mentioning and between you and other our colleagues is that PKO belongs to PKO Bank. And this is a one organization. And this is most probably the key difference between partnership and one organization. So could be like that, I don't know, but this seems a key point for me in that success mode. But again, this is my just jump in. Michal, what is your opinion on those things?
I would say maybe a little bit different position. Competitive between the digital sales, digital model and traditional model in the place of regulation is quite, I would say, funny, because what I'm sometimes faced by our agents that we expect from them from traditional sales network that they will meet all regulations very pure and very strict check the demands of clients, what he really needs, and we have to be sure that this process is quite I would say understandable for client. From the digital sales, we do not put so much attention to that, because we put this responsibility on our client. So of course we have to put simple sales path. This is a lot of information usually do not be checked by client. We all know that we accept many regulation on websites when we buy something or use some web tools. And when client is using full digital sales process, he accepts all this regulation without reading, in fact. And it is acceptable. even for regulators, because we put this information to the website, to the app, or something like that. When we have a sales in the traditional network, we have to, as an insurer who is responsible for controlling all his sales staff, we have to much more attention to all these processes, which IDD, for example, put to our old processes, to our old procedures. So that's why I would say that this competition between the digital and the traditional sales in the area of regulators is not very, I would say, okay for traditional sales.
Michal, thanks. Would be nice to hear what brokers thinks about that, Vladimir.
Thank you. IDD is not still present in Serbia yet, but anyhow, insurance is a heavily regulated activity supervised by various government institutions, and that's really not helping digitalization of insurance sales process. So, as I said before, to have consent of the client for all the data that insurer or broker or agent gathers from the client, meaning personal data, and then getting consent about pre-contractual information, and that having consented client understood everything that is written in insurance policy is truly hard way, and that's why I think that the only two lines of business that are sold in Serbia via online are household and travel insurance. Based on this experience, we see that once it's legally possible, only simple lines of business and those who are mandatory, like MTPL, could be sold online. All other things should transform into something that could be sold digitally. And we can step in to help insurers in that way.
Vladimir, thanks for that. Thomas, any points of view how you manage with your successful sales mode and applications of GDPR, IDD issues?
Yeah, of course, we are fully compliant. So we have a very, very scrutinized process, because both the insurance and the bank are heavily regulated. So we have to check all the control points with everything we do. And so far, we have no issue with regulators. We have a lot of challenges to build every solutions and tool in order to be compliant with all the regulations. For example, we do in the application that we have, we do the adequacy test with the customer, whether the product is suitable or not for his needs. So it's all embedded in the process. Now, I think the challenge for us is that today technology is allowing us to very, very rich interaction with the customer. But when you have a lot of customers in your portfolio, more likely than not, you will not have consent of those customers to work with them. Because at the time when you first subscribe them, when you build your relationship, the technology was just not there. And so you cannot have the consent for all the means of communication, for data profiling, for contacting them through electronic means. So our big business challenge today is to work with customers in order for the customers to have a chance to give a consent, so that we can fully provide our services to them without breaking any rules or any laws. Because the fact that we are a subsidiary of the bank gives us absolutely no right to approach the clients of the bank and present them insurance offer unless we have an appropriate consent. So we must be very, very careful in what we do. This is controlled very heavily, and we as an insurance company, we make sure that all the network of the bank is working in line with Insurance Distribution Directive. And it's not an easy task, but we have to make sure that it's like this. So for us, the business objective right now is to be able to reach all the customers of the group with all range of our services and analytics and pre-approved offers and so on, which today is not unfortunately possible, but it will be possible.
Thomas, great to hear this. For sure, banks easily and their companies cannot interact. But in that perspective, I would jump to the next topic. And Thomas, I would like you to stay in strategies to maximize usage of data. So the question, how you encourage clients and your distribution to have those consents, to have those data into the system. However, yeah, your bank has it, but still to allow, what are the whatever incentives or whatever you do to have to collect the data, because most probably it is a topic for our colleagues, because you have a bit wider data than we do have. And how do you do that? What are the key issues for that?
Yes, so first challenge is to learn to use this data. And it's very actuarial and technical issue, but generally speaking, there is a lot of correlation between the risk profile and a lot of things in your life. So bank has a lot of data on their customers, and it's absolutely forbidden to use this data for other purposes than what the client gave you the permission for. So if you have a bank account, bank doesn't have your data in order to analyze your life and make assumptions about you. So this is something that we absolutely cannot do. What we do is we work with customers and we encourage customers to allow us to make some limited analysis in order to make their offer better, to better suit their needs. And we can do that even without analyzing individual customers. You have to, you don't need to analyze individual customer in order to be able to profile his risk. Basically, it's just enough to attach him to a kind of group or segment of the market. And if, for example, you have someone who has children, or if you have someone who is married, or you have someone who has the mortgage loan, that's basically a lot of information already. But again, a lot of people have children, are married, or have mortgage loan, but we cannot just look at their accounts and make this analysis. It's not allowed, it cannot be done. So we work with clients, we teach our advisors to discuss with clients, and if they choose to do so and to give the appropriate consents, then we can do some limited profiling. And as a result, we are able to improve the offer for the client. So basically, it's a win-win for the client and for the insurance company. It's a win-win because underwriting and risk assessment, they are just the key of our competence. So we ask the clients to work with us in order to make their offer better. And a lot of clients, they consent, they agree. Instead, what we could do, we could just give the clients a very long formula to fill in with a lot of questions, and then process this formula and then make an offer, which is basically the same process. But we just can streamline it and make it much more efficient. And it's already implemented, it's happening, and it works really, really well.
Thomas, thanks. Sabina, what do you think? How to motivate direct sales force to gather those consents from the clients, to transfer them to the digital? What are your experiences?
Good question, Yanis, because this is the hottest, one of the hottest topics, I would say, because we live from the portfolio. So it's, you know, always this ambidexterity. So to handle the old world and prepare for the new technology things, this is really challenging. I mean, we try everything. We paid incentives. We made a lot of road shows. We showed them what is the advantage. So to be short, what is the most successful way so far is, first of all, to build the trust. If they do not believe that you support them in cross and upsell their customers, they do not give you any data. So trust is somehow the key to success. And the first step is the most difficult one, to gain this trust and to really show in case studies and in pilots, what are you going to do when you once get the telephone, the correct, intentionally I'm saying that, telephone number and the correct email address. Not to misuse this data to sell centralized, not to misuse the data in the sense that you do not pay commission for the service for the customer, because sales agents, they live from commission. We have to understand that. Even knowing that, it's extremely difficult, unfortunately, to really convince traditional sales that it's a win-win situation if we gather both the data. And it's not only, how to say, it's not only this trust and to convince salespeople that we need the data. It's also, if you think about how to service the portfolio in future, because what we did not mention so far is that we do not find, even if we want, we do not find salespeople. So coming also from that age, we need to be much more digitalized, because how to serve the customers in the age of more than 65, 70 years, where we know probably they will stay with the portfolio they have. It is much more less than more in future.
Thanks, Sabine. So we are 8 minutes left according to agenda. So Michal, your input on that, because as well, traditional market, how you do that? How you manage those things?
I would say that this is not our most important goal to convince our agents, our traditional sales network to shift clients to digital, first of all, because this is from the agent perspective, digital is some kind of threat. They do not want to shift client to this channel. Of course, there are some products which are a little bit more likely bought by clients because of type of this product. For example, travel insurance, and we prepare for agents web shop with this kind of products, with they have their own link, then they can get commission if their client is on airport, and he can buy insurance and be serviced by his agent as regular. So in this kind of products, we give an option, but we do not push our sales network to this process. I can add also that these two channels, the traditional and digital, they will work separately, in my opinion. This kind of omni-channel philosophy, it won't be working this time. Maybe in the longer future, maybe it will change. But in this time, these two type of channel will work separately. As I mentioned before, of course, a traditional network will use some IT tools for communication, to supporting clients more efficient, to renewing policy more efficient, to do not print policy, just to send it via email or other tool, but not to support to servicing client in the process of purchasing.
Michal, thanks, and let them finalize with Vladimir, broker. Partly they are not agents, but anyway, distributors, and they're ready, I believe, keen to collect the data and to use them. How you do those things? What are your distribution brokers? How do you work with them? Are they ready to share the data with broker company?
Our colleagues, because we are a small broker, have to share all the data about the clients. But my previous experience shows most 99% of what actually Sabine and Michal have said. Agents are not keen to share the data because of lack of trust, because they are afraid of misuse the data, and that also my previous experience says the key thing is to build the trust with the client, with the agents, that the company will not misuse the data about the clients. Then to give incentive for every correct data, every digitally sold policy, because it's, after all, it's cheaper than traditional way. And at the end, it has shown a very successful, it has been very successful model, but applicable only mostly for life business, to have some welcome call from the company, centralized from the headquarters to the client after successfully submitted life policy. So after this welcome call, agent gets some small, let's say, incentive when all the data is correct, not just commission for sold life policy. And then that is the circle of building more and more trust between the company and the agents, that agent is giving the right data to the company, and that then the company is using that data in proper way and rewarding for good data.
Vladimir, thanks, colleagues. I think we have touched not all, but 3 topics mentioned in the agenda. We are already in the end of our today's event, so we'll not anymore go in detail on other ones. So thanks everybody, and I kindly ask colleagues from Connectiva to finalize the things. If you have any questions, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Yanis. We don't have any questions, so thank you all, Thomas, Yanis, Michal, Vladimir, Sabine. Thank you very much for the panel discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So, all right, dear viewers, we are at the end of our webinar. I really hope you enjoyed it. You learned a lot. I do hope that you found it useful. I wanted to thank you all for staying here until the end and watching this webinar. And special thanks, of course, to all our speakers. You can, if you want to continue the conversation with any of them, you can find them all on LinkedIn. They will be happy to continue the conversation there. Meanwhile, 2 small kind of announcements from our side is that the next event within the Insurance CEE network is the webinar, which is focusing on digitizing your claims, motor claims experience, which will be happening on 20th of April. So you can find information on our website as well. And the offline event, which is focusing on the insurance in general, we have announced already. It's happening on 7th and 8th of September. in Prague. It's called Insurance CEE Expo. Great event, really. We're really excited for this opportunity to kind of gather everyone in an offline format. So please refer to our website, www.connectiva-cee.com, and find all the information there. So with this, I am closing this webinar. Thank you all again for watching, and stay tuned for future events. Thank you. Bye-bye.